and welcome to this week's Football Talk podcast. Josh Call, I'm your host this week. So sit back, get yourself comfortable as we bring you update on this week's football. As we talk news, we challenge Dave in a quiz. We review the weekend's football, we check our levels of fun in our sensible betting. And finally, well, it's pretty bleak fun this week. Then finally, I send Dave an unsolicited Wik pick as he gets challenged the Wikifiles. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, then drop us a like and subscribe to our channels on YouTube and Spotify so you don't miss out. We're here every Sunday, 10 a.m, even on international weekends. Now, over to my co-host, Mr. David Nichols. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah,
rocking the France top again.
Yes, I am rocking the France top because I feel like I need to rock a football top. But obviously, we've discovered that my superstitions don't allow me to wear a Spurs top at the moment because
True.
I feel like it's poisoning their chances. And so I'm just kind of poisoning any Frenchman's chances. So hopefully Moussa Sissoko and Hugo Lloris have okay days with this shirt being worn. I'm trying to think if do Crystal Palace have any Frenchmen that I can put the hoodoo over?
Not...
Sacco.
Oh, Sacco, yeah, Max. So let's go back to the superstition thing of last week then. If Hugo Lloris has a shocker, are you not wearing that French shirt again on a Tottenham Spurs day when Lloris is in goal?
It's basically, this is kind of that one independent variable. This is good testing. The independent variable is the football shirt, and we're seeing what outcome it has on the football. So if the Frenchman has a bad day today, Spurs related, then this shirt will get burnt. So
extreme, bloody hell. Okay, no, I like it. Burn a shirt. I wouldn't say live on camera.
Don't burn shirts. Don't burn shirts.
No, they're expensive. Definitely don't burn them. They're expensive now. Yeah.
No. Treasure them. Keep them in keepsake boxes. I've got all my shirts. Well, not the ones I had I actually have got some ones I had as a kid, but I think I've lost some because I do remember getting a Spurs goalkeeper shirt when I was young. That's how good I was at football. I got the goalkeeper shirts.
Your parents knew. They knew.
Yeah. I remember getting it one Christmas, and I think I might have told this story before, but I remember getting a football shirt one Christmas, and I think the first thing I opened was the socks, and I was like, oh my goodness, I got the socks. And so I went upstairs. I don't know why, I must have been a right old prude. I got the socks, went upstairs and put the socks on. I was like, okay, right, here we are, got the socks on. Next thing I opened, ran back down, and opened up the shorts. I was like, well, I'm going upstairs and putting the shorts on.
What could be next?
Like, no, wait, Josh. No, I'm going upstairs to put those shorts on. So I'm probably sat there with a Christmas pyjama top, and bottom half was all business. And then finally came out was the Spurs shirt, and completed the set. That was if anyone remembers it, that was the turquoise with a purple orange kind of Espen Bardsson era Spurs goalkeeper's kit.
Nice, very nice. Oh my word, I would love to have seen that. Love to have seen that. Hang on, I've got to go and put the socks on.
Yeah,
got to go and put the socks
weird
on.
if you'd seen it if you were in my house on Christmas Day when I was like 10, but
Yeah, probably.
I did see you on Christmas Day, so didn't I? I used to see you every now and then.
Did we?
You would see, because our friend of a pod, Owen.
Yeah.
I would often, before going
to
see
that's
family,
true. Yeah.
I would go and see Owen, pop in, and then you obviously go to the road, and then we would see you, and
Christmas Day morning, we'd probably occasionally bump into each other in Owen's house. Yeah, very true. Very true, guys. That's how bad my memory is.
Dave remembers it well.
I'll wipe that out, wipe that from the memory. But no, yes. What were we talking about before I asked you about superstitions? Nowhere, we hadn't started.
Nothing. That was literally the start of the pod. So should we talk news?
Yeah, let's go for it. You go.
Okay, so Champions League and the Europa League have finished. The group stage have finished. We have Man City finishing first, Chelsea finishing first in their group, Liverpool finishing first in their group. I mean, the Europa League, Arsenal, Rangers, Leicester, Spurs finishing first in their group. Have I forgotten anyone?
No.
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 One finished first, and that's all the British sides who finished first, isn't it, Dave?
That's all the British sides that entered. Well, I mean, judging by our performance, that is all the.
Celtic and Manchester United finished bottom and third, respectively. So Manchester United drop into the Europa League.
See you in the final, Josh. See you in the final.
I would not like that. That brings back bad memories.
Mourinho would love it. He would win it if it was a United Spurs final. Mourinho, I would put money on Spurs winning. Purely because of Mourinho.
Oh God, he's so good as a manager.
He's not.
Theory.
He's not.
He is.
He's not.
He is. He got a bad rep. He's getting a bad rep. So I don't know if you're aware. So obviously Spurs won the derby last weekend, 2-0 by Arsenal.
Yeah.
Some lovely goals. Like Son's goal is just gets further out every time I watch it actually, and Kane's crushing finish, which I thought he'd missed. But there's two bits of talk around in the Spurs kind of environment. One is after the match. God, Jamie Redknapp just detests Spurs. One, he loves a bit of Frank Lampard, and two, I think he hates Spurs ever since his dad's got the old heave ho.
Yeah.
And they were really laying into Spurs how boring it is. I wouldn't like to play for them. Jamie, you wouldn't get in the side, mate, so don't have to worry about that. Be getting Harry Winks treatment. But yeah, there's a lot of criticism of Spurs and the style of football they play. And then there's also, I don't know if you've seen this around the Harry Kane challenge that has been
No.
put around. So he's done, I think, 3 times this season. He kind of
Oh, his little trying to break someone's neck thing, which is really bad. Yeah.
yes, but it's not very much not limited to Harry Kane. There is a certain amount of focus that Harry Kane gets, but it happened yesterday. I saw it a couple of times yesterday. One was in the Chelsea match. I can't remember what player was on Everton on the Chelsea. It happens all the time. I'm not saying it's a great. It's a poor foul.
You're not
Actually,
condoning it.
not condoning it at all, but the amount of heat that Harry Kane gets for doing it is disproportionate, I'd say. But hey, what do you get when you're top of the league, Dave? What do you get?
Yeah, exactly. You get the ABS brigade. Anyone but Spurs.
Oh, okay.
So there's always the ABU. Anyone but United. That was around for like the whole of the 90s. Whereas anyone can win the league as long as it's not Man United.
Yeah.
So which probably still exists. There's probably a lot of that. It's probably a lot more now. Anyone but Liverpool's. Anyone but City's. Anyone but the top
I mean, it's
four.
just kind of, can we have anyone? I mean, it'd normally be anyone different, but Spurs have kind of been in and around the story. Like people like Leicester winning because it was completely different. It'd have to be someone of that ilk for fans to kind of join together and want that.
Southampton. I think Southampton would get a good. Like I don't think there'd any be
yeah.
other than Portsmouth fans. I don't think there'd be any Premier League fans that would be annoyed if Southampton won it.
Yeah.
So
back to Europa League quickly then.
Yeah.
Obviously Spurs are in it and United are now in it. Are you happy you've gone dropped into it, or would you like to go on? You know what, get out of it?
No, I'd rather have drawn with Leipzig, got absolutely battered in the first stage of the knockout rounds in the Champions League, than drop into the Europa League.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. We've done the Europa League, done it. Yeah, I'd rather have got through the group and had that thing of getting through the group, because then at least that would have been some sort of progress.
I mean, it was quite spectacular. You managed to beat Leipzig and PSG
and still come third in the group.
That's pretty impressive.
And that's what I mean. I'd rather have just got through and then drawn, I don't know, like a Barcelona and got battered and been like, well, at least they're a really good team. Now, what's actually happened is going to go into the Europa League and get drawn against someone like, I don't even know, is it like Gdansk?
Insert team here.
Yeah, Gdansk, and go out on penalties or something ridiculous, because no one wants to be in it. You don't really want to be in it. You want to be in the Champions League.
Well, obviously, I would like, but there was no way into the Champions League. We tried our best.
Well,
you somehow went on to a stupid run of form last season and spoiled it for everybody, and didn't even make the most of it by dropping into the Europa League now.
I know, it's a joke.
But leading up to your game, obviously, there's a bit of news. Was Paul Pogba's agent had a little word into the media? What did you make of that, Dave? Tell people what he said and what you kind of thought.
He told the world media that Paul Pogba was done at United. He's not happy and he's going to move. He's got to move. Is what he said. And the guy is scum, isn't he? The guy is scum. I mean, and this is the problem. If I say the guy's scum, he might be a really nice person. He might be a really nice person.
Oh, that's the quickest backtracking you've done.
Yeah, he might be a really nice person. I don't know him, but he seems like he's a bit
behaviour in the football news environment. Yeah,
but he would say that because Paul Pogba said it to him. And if Paul Pogba hasn't said that to him, Paul Pogba should sack him.
Yeah, there's definitely there's got to be a link between the two. He's not going to be like, he's not just going rogue and being like, hey Paul, check what I've just said. What? I mean, what have you done that for?
Yeah.
Don't take it back.
I've told you that. I was down the pub. We had a couple of pints. I was joking, but it's just like Riola's he's a right dirty piece of work, it seems. But the problem is that Man United are always linked to his, and we want people that he represents. And, Gary Neville gave a very impassioned response to a question on Sky Sports from Kelly Cates, I think. Is Kelly Cates who presents Sky Sports football? He gave a very passionate response about, the club should never deal with Riola again. They should never deal with Riola again. And then Mika Rich was just like, yeah, but you want to sign Erling Haaland, so... And
Yeah.
Gary Neville was just like, yeah, but we should never just sign any of his players. It doesn't work like that, does it? You have to deal with these
Well, no, it's one of
scumbag
those
agents.
things. It is because they know they hold the cards, don't they? They
Yeah.
hold the players that you go, oh, what you're saying, he actually would come. You'd get him to come to us, and you go, oh, fine,
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
it's weirdly, I'm becoming more fond of Micah Richards as a pundit.
Oh, he's great.
More and more. Because I don't get to see him very much over here.
Oh, and the Micah Richards, Roy Keane kind of
Yeah.
bromance is a lovely.
When Micah Richards literally would have hugged him if it wasn't for social distancing. That was incredible. If you've not seen that on the football after the Man United game, that was lovely. But yeah, I think
his laugh is very wholesome and great. It's just he's lovely. Yeah,
he's really good. But I think the whole thing with Pogba and his agent is just I can't see a way that we don't sell him in.
You've not exactly disowned him. He comes on as a sub and scores against Leipzig, and then starts the Manchester derby.
And played well against Man City. He was strong on the ball. He passed it well. He kept it moving. The problem you've got with Paul Pogba, and again, I agree with Micah Richards when he said it, was that we bought this player in for 86 million or whatever it was from Juventus, the most expensive player at the time, just before Neymar moved for ridiculous sums, and then we didn't ever build around him. We were just like, yeah, we've got Pogba, he's going to do it all, and there was such a fanfare, and Pogba induced the fanfare, obviously with the whole hashtag Pogback thing that he invented himself. And what the problem is that if you buy someone like that, that is your player for the next however many years, and your strategy is to build around that player, no matter who the manager is or whatever style of football they play. Pogba has to be the man, and you play around it, and it's just not come to fruition. So I feel bad for Pogba because he's clearly a very talented player.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, talking of another talented midfielder, it was the of the month award. So we had manager, player, and goal of the month. You see that your man Bruno won his third player of the month already.
Well,
in, just under a year he's been there.
Very good footballer. I mean,
yeah.
I think my worry is that if we don't get the Champions League this year, he's going to go. Someone big.
Oh, well, no way would he do. Well, no.
Real Madrid call in. Barcelona come call in. Bigger than Man United.
I see him as more of a Barcelona than a Real.
So do I. Yeah. So do I.
I link more Portuguese with Barcelona. I don't feel there's a better fit.
Other than Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah.
No, it's more about the kind of Simao, even Luis Figo obviously went for both, but I see him fitting better in a Barcelona side.
So do I. I see him playing for
even
a Barcelona
in the Barcelona
side.
shirt. I see that's more his colours.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think if we don't get the Champions League, I think there's a big risk that someone just comes in and says, here's whatever, 90 million. Or maybe when COVID's finished.
You bought him a little bit later in his career, but so I don't know, he's got to be 26, and so
he's 25, I think. Yeah, 25.
Yeah, so that move may happen sooner than some people think, but I wouldn't have thought so. Jose, won his fourth manager of the month, which is obviously absurd. His first since February 2007. It's one of those awards, isn't it, where managers, like if they're elite managers, they can go ages without getting it because you give it to the manager who's somehow, a lower level manager who's somehow you've beaten the two of the big six or something a month.
I'd be interested to know how many Sean Dyche has won in the time that it's taken Mourinho to win one since 2017. Because Sean Dyche went through, didn't he?
2007.
2007, sorry. So Sean Dyche had like two really good seasons with Burnley where they beat, was it Man City and like Liverpool back to back or something?
I'm going to put that'd be a stretch if Burnley beat Man City.
Oh yeah, that's true because they just get beaten 5-0. It was definitely two reasonably big teams. So Sean Dyche would have won some Manager of the Month awards. I'm sure of it. In between. And like Eddie Howe,
won 2.
He's won 2.
Yeah, March 18, February 20. Yeah, he's won 2 Manager of the Month. Before obviously this month it was 3-2 to Mourinho on Manager of the Month, and that one's won 3 Premier League titles.
Yeah, 3 Premier League titles. Got that crap Man United team to second in the league, and he's only won 4 Manager of the Month awards. That's right. How many's Klopp won? Well, you've got the data. Well, you can quickly get the data.
Klopp has.
Have we found 8? Okay, I was going to say, have we found the award that is biased towards small teams or smaller teams? But evidently,
how many do you reckon Ole's got?
None.
I reckon he's got 1.
Oh no, he must have 1 when like when he was temporary manager, probably.
January 19.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
How many do you reckon Pep? More or less than Klopp?
What, Pep? Less. He won't have more than 8.
7. Yeah.
7, yeah. So,
Well, this could be an actual quiz. This is better
yeah.
than my quiz, but I think that's a good point to move on to the quiz this week.
Okay, right.
Unless you have any other news, Dave.
No, I was just going to touch on some of the European feel to it that we do, but we don't have to do that today. That's fine. So,
Well, just quickly on the manager of the month, player of the month, it was Portugal heavy. If you look around other leagues in the top league, I think a lot of Portuguese players won it. So it's a good time for Portugal.
nice, excellent.
All right. Here is this week's quiz. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. Ooh la 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 la. It's quizzing time. Right.
Full intro. Love it.
This is. Yeah, it wasn't it? Premier League top scorer. So this is a list of the current Premier League clubs, and these are the amount of goals that their top Premier League goal scorer of all time has got, sorted by in descending order. I want Dave to name that player for each club. Does that make sense, David Nichols?
Yeah, so it's the current 20 teams that are in the Premier League.
But not their current player. The player could have since left the club.
Yeah.
But it's,
Is it their all-time? Is their all-time Premier League top scorer? So like the Sheffield United one can't be Billy Sharp because he's scored loads of goals in the Championship.
Sheffield United have barely scored 15 goals since they re-entered the league.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, Man United 183. Andy Cole.
Ooh, cracking start, Dave. Wrong.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Ryan Giggs? No, he wouldn't have scored 180. Who scored all of our goals? Maybe I should do these more. I should do these hungover more often. Wayne Rooney.
Top scorer of all time. Dave?
Our top scorer of all time.
Yeah, like for everything. Not just Premier League. Didn't he beat Bobby Charlton's record when he near the end, like 260, 70?
What, Cristiano Ronaldo? Who are you talking about?
Wayne Rooney.
I said Wayne Rooney, and you said no.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right.
Oh.
Sorry, in case you didn't get.
Sorry.
Wayne Rooney. Then I was aghast it took you that long to get it.
Sorry, yeah, I said Wayne Rooney, and I thought you said I was wrong. That's why I was really confused.
No.
Right.
It's Wayne Rooney. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it just took me 3 attempts to get there. I don't know why I immediately went Andy Cole as well.
No, you seemed like got it already. Oh yeah.
I thought you were going to be like no, and I was going to have to say Andrew Cole. Right, okay. Man City, 180, Sergio Aguero.
I feel like I'm just going back. I don't think I can give you a point for that one, Dave.
Fine, don't give me a point.
I'm not giving you a point.
You're the quizmaster, Josh. You can be as harsh and as fair as you want. So,
okay.
Sergio Aguero.
Yes, correct.
Thierry Henry.
Correct. Read it out, Dave. Club and.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Newcastle United, 148 goals, Alan Shearer.
Yeah.
Chelsea, 147 goals. Frank Lampard?
Frank Lampard, yeah. For those who missed it, obviously, Man City 180 Aguero, Arsenal 175 Henry, Newcastle 148 Shearer, Chelsea 147 Lampard, with obviously Man United 183 Rooney top of pole, which David didn't get right because he went Andrew Cole first. Okay.
What an idiot. Where do we get to? Tottenham, 143. Is it Harry Kane?
It is Harry Kane.
I was going to say it's surely. Liverpool, 126. I mean, I don't know. It's a guess, but I'm going to say Gerrard because of how long he was there.
Incorrect.
Robbie Fowler.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
There we go.
I'm going to give you half points if it's on second guess, all right? And no points if it's on third guess.
Okay. I mean, even if it was second guess for Man United, you should have given me no points, to be honest. So
yeah, no, that was a different one. But I mean, your second guess was Ryan Giggs, so that was more embarrassing, if I'm honest.
Number 8, Leicester, 103. Jamie Vardy's having a party.
He is at 103 goals.
Southampton, 100. Oh, 100. Oh, now again, Matt Letizia is a guess, but he was just there for so long.
It's a good guess. Yes,
Yeah.
I did this quiz, and there's lots of options in all the clubs, so I filtered this down. But yeah, I struggled with the Southampton one. It took me a little while.
Yeah, I'd say Letizia.
I went Marion Pahars.
Wow, that's bold. You have a big drop off now. In 10th position, Aston Villa, 73. Dwight York.
Incorrect. Half point.
Aston Villa. Who would have scored 7? Who was up front for a while for Aston Villa?
Yeah, they have had their time. It's not through a quick and dirty couple of seasons. This is through attrition. Yeah.
Dalian Atkinson.
Okay, brilliant. It's for those who want to know. I'll let you know at the end what that one is, so you can have a little think.
No,
Moving
well,
on.
I've got no points, so you might as well just tell me.
No, just thinking the listeners. So
Oh,
they
for the
can-
listeners. Okay, for the listeners, yeah. Everton, 68. Duncan Ferguson.
Incorrect.
Why do I really struggle with other team strikers? Well, I struggled with my own team striker.
Yeah.
But who has played up front for Everton and scored 68 goals? That's the quiz.
That is. Dave gets it.
Pass. Come back to that one.
Oh, you're coming back to that one.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm going to go with... No, it can't be him.
Go on.
I was going to go with Louis Saha.
Louis Saha, incorrect.
Yeah.
So that is not coming back to that. I'll pick that up at the end. Leeds United, 59 goals. Who was it?
Mark Viduka.
Oh, gets it. Fulham, 50 goals. Who is it?
I feel like they had someone up front. Barry Hales. No, that's wrong.
I had to guess at Barry Hales as well. No, it's not Barry Hales.
Louis Saha.
Louis Saha is not Louis Saha. We'll come back to that one. Clue for you, don't write his first name in capital letters. Right.
What? That doesn't help me.
West Ham, also 50 goals.
West Ham, 50 goals. Paolo Di Canio.
Paolo Di Canio, you're flirting around the pass mark, Dave. You're currently at 48% with 6 remaining.
15th, Burnley, 38. I mean, Jay Rodriguez?
Incorrect.
Ashley Barnes?
Correct.
Yeah. Good. Phew.
Chris Wood was second, I think.
Okay. 16, Crystal Palace, 36. Wilfred Zaha.
Wilfred Zaha. Dave passes this quiz.
Oh.
Yes.
Good.
West Brom, 30 goals.
West Brom,
Who is it?
30 goals. Jeff Horsfield.
Jeff Horsfield is incorrect.
Oh, I thought I pulled one out of the bag there.
For half a point, who you got?
Lukaku.
That's not a bad guess. Incorrect.
Wolverhampton.
Okay, Wolverhampton Wanderers, 30 goals.
Raul Jimenez.
Raul Jimenez. Hope you're recovering well, Raul.
Yeah, get well.
Keep in touch.
Brighton and Hove Albion, 26. Glenn Murray.
Glenn Murray, nice.
Is it actually Glenn Murray?
It is actually Glenn Murray,
Bloody
yeah.
hell. Sheffield United, 15. Billy Sharp.
No. For half a point,
Ollie McBurney.
Ollie McBurney is 0 points for Dave on Sheffield United. So there are 5 you didn't get. We have Aston Villa, 73 goals. England, speedster, not so much now.
Gabby.
and Von Lahore.
Yeah.
We have Everton, 68 goals. You've mentioned him once.
Lukaku.
Lukaku. Fulham, 50 goals. Don't write this guy's first name in capitals. It's Clint Dempsey, because it looks like the word.
Yeah.
With a big 50. West Bromwich Albion, 30. Driving to car parks near you.
Oh.
Make it sound like he's dogging. He's not dogging. He's trying to get a transfer.
Yeah, what's his name? Hang on, what's his name? He
Lottie
drove to...
Rucker.
He went to QPR, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's got QPR written all over him as a player.
What's his name?
Peter.
Odemwingie.
Don't be blue, Peter. Odemwingie. And last but not least, Sheffield United, 15. It's like a really strange bingo I'm doing. Sheffield United, 15. Brian Dean.
Brian Dean. Oh, first ever Premier League goal scorer.
Yes, and he scored 14 more after that to make it in total.
Exactly.
Will anyone, and I don't think they're going to get a new record goal scorer this year, but who knows.
Well, you never know. Ryan Brewster may come alive after Christmas.
Yeah, hopefully they build on their 1 point today by beating Southampton, maybe. But that is the end of the quiz. Did you enjoy that quiz, Dave?
It was... I'm, well, thoroughly disappointed in myself, to be honest.
I think you'd have enjoyed it a lot more if you hadn't messed up the Man United one so royally.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. I think because I was put off by... I hadn't comprehended the question properly, which I know is my own stupidity. Because when it said...
Is that the thing I tried to clarify at the start?
Yeah, and you did clarify. And then I asked you a clarification question. You clarified it again, and I still got it wrong. Because when it said all-time Premier League top scorer, I'd said Andy Cole because of Newcastle and Man United, and 2 for Blackburn, I think it was. But, yes.
Even though Wayne Rooney scored more Premier League goals than Andy Cole.
Yeah. And then I said Ryan Giggs, so I've got no argument. So
no, I don't know where that came from. No.
So, yeah, good.
Despicable human being as well.
Good times. Good times.
Not you, Ryan Giggs.
I was going to say, I thought you were judging me. You little.
Right.
Harsh.
Let's move on.
Right.
Let's move on to the reviews of the weekend's football, which has been, I would say,
dire.
A little lackluster. But we'll start off with the Rio Ferdinand derby, Friday Night Lights, Leeds versus West Ham, and. West Ham are starting to put together a bit of a side, aren't they? They're starting to actually... David Moyes has made a lot of bad career choices since leaving Everton. I didn't think this was one. Coming back to West Ham on a permanent deal and actually having a bit of longevity, started to build a side. I mean, he's building a side made of giants. That's basically what he's doing. Getting big people in a side, but it's working. Yeah.
Do you have to give some credit to the Dildo Brothers for... realising they may have made a mistake getting rid of him and bringing him back?
Yeah, it's a good trait if you realise your mistakes and you...
Because, you've always been an advocate of Moyes to say he's a project manager. He needs a long-term thing to work. And maybe that's what they realised. They bought the players for him and then he left and it wasn't working as well, so let's get him back and let him try and finish the... I mean, they're up to fifth, sixth.
Yeah.
So...
But they're just playing pretty well. I mean, every time West Ham mention this, forevermore, I'll always think about a 3-3. But he's starting to lay roots, develop a side. It's good. We had them. Do you remember where we had them in the predictions?
Oh, I probably had them as my surprise package.
You wishes. You had them at 16th. I had them at a slightly more favourable 14th. Obviously, we're only 11, 12 games in, so a lot we played. But it's green shoots. It's good. I mean, Souček is his new Fellaini.
Yeah.
I mean, Sebastian Haller. I'm not sure Sebastian Haller is ever going to score again. Actually, I think he's done a Christian Benteke, and he's just the goals have he's been space jammed. I think it's just gone from him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But Leeds can be as enterprising, exciting, and kind of as well drilled as they want going forward, with the pretty shapes and the pressing. But you can't defend, especially from set pieces. You're going to be.
Do you think
against it?
People always say, the Premier League is the most intense league in the world in terms of the games you play and stuff like that. Do you think Leeds are struggling fitness-wise earlier than they normally would? I know it's very early because it's Christmas time. But obviously we've said in the Championship, about 2 years under Bielsa, okay, they got promoted last year, but the year before, they ran out of steam. Is that coming early because of the intense pressure with COVID and the fixtures and the press of the Premier League?
It's probably more mentally. It's the mental. When you find it at work, like your mental kind of your concentration levels do drain you as well. Your brain works and uses a lot of energy, so you will have to concentrate more in the Premier League. So I imagine there will be they'll take a toll. I haven't noticed it from them that they've been kind of fatigued. I think it's more
because I would say set pieces. Set pieces is where you need that mentality to be awake and be alive and things like that.
Crosses are causing a problem, which I imagine Arteta's licking his lips at as Arsenal manager, thinking, "Oh, hello, crosses, can't deal with those."
David Moyes 2.0, Michael Arteta.
Michael Arteta. So another shout. We've spoken about it a few times. Melia, the goalkeeper. Where do you reckon Leeds would be if it wasn't for him this season? He's been. I think he was slightly at fault for the first goal. Caught a bit Jordan Pickford, a bit behind himself and wasn't aggressive enough on that cross. But he's been a saviour a number of times. He's
done very well for someone that was chucked into the limelight early doors, with Casilla having his issues off the field and getting a ban and all that sorts of stuff. So, because he probably wouldn't have started the season. They probably would have started.
No, he was on loan last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think they signed him permanently from, I want to say, Lorient.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he does have a bit of the Jordan Pickfords about him. He does like to jump backwards before he jumps forwards occasionally, and he doesn't always seem to be aware of where his line is. as in the goalkeeper goal line. He doesn't.
What the problem is though, we've become aware of him because obviously we don't watch 90 minutes of Leeds every week,
Yeah.
and we don't watch 90 minutes of a lot of other clubs. We've become aware of him because he's time and time again being called into action and responding.
Yeah.
You don't want your goalkeeper to be on highlight reels each week for his fantastic saves. It's nice to be, yeah. He's making fantastic saves, but he's having to make those saves. So I think they would be worse off without him for sure. I think he's had a very good start to the season.
Yeah, definitely. But I think there is a concern for the set pieces, and you think a manager like Bielsa would try and stamp down on that quite quickly with how precise he likes things to be. So
yeah,
it's very interesting. But yeah, good. I mean, another penalty where the goalkeeper jumps off his line. The other end, Fabianski brings. I know there's the new double jeopardy rule. Should that not be a red card though? Because Bamford was round Fabianski to tap it in an open net. There was no defender. It was a clear, obvious goal. And technically, Fabianski then saved the penalty. I know it had to be retaken and they scored the retake. But that's where the double jeopardy rule, I don't like it.
Yeah, but isn't it depending on if they make an attempt to play the ball, isn't it? That you don't get the red card.
There's...
So is he... He's coming out... It's difficult, yeah.
I mean, when I saw it... When Fabianski touches, I know it's slowed down and it's a replay and it's hard to judge it in real. It's harder, or it's easier to make a judgment by a replay. But Bamford was quite a way past him when Fabianski touched him.
Yeah, it was kind of like, I'm stopping this.
Yeah, and I think Fabianski, when the yellow card came out, would have felt like a very lucky boy. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, VAR is being very strict with the rule about you have to be on your line, you can't be in front of it. It was.
Yeah, which I can get on board with. I think it's harsh on goalkeepers because they're already fighting a losing battle. I think there's a XG of a penalty something like 0.7, 0.8, so it's already weighted in the attacker's favour. I mean, this just makes it more. But if you're going to have that rule, keep to it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be it's just so going to happen. There'll be a Spurs match where he doesn't get picked up on. But hey, well, right. So well done, West Ham. Good away win. That's kind of like 4 wins in the last 5? Only United who. Smashed him the other way.
Yeah, well, eventually. So a quick question in the chat. So do you reckon this is sort of the reason why Bielsa hasn't managed a really big team, as in like a Barcelona or a Madrid? No one's picked him up for that sort of thing in the pressure of the set pieces.
I would say it's more because of his intense style and the demands he puts on players. May not be.
And I would say maybe complete control. He has complete control of everything.
I'd say it wouldn't quite work for the major sides and the major players. Who would they be? It's kind of like early Pochettino era. It worked quite well at Spurs because he had younger players.
Yeah.
And whether he'd get the same out of him if he was doing it with superstars is to be seen. And Pochettino's now, sorry on him, obviously a kind of a student of Bielsa. Out of the game for a year now. I'm intrigued to know what the longest... what somebody you'd kind of put in that second tier bracket has spent out the game.
Yeah,
it's a little while. He needs to get back in reasonably sharpish. I think if he goes this whole season without a job, that's going to be negative on him. I thought.
Okay, yeah, interesting, very interesting actually. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, whenever he wanted to take a job mid-season is a different matter, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the Adama Traore derby, Wolves v Villa.
Yeah, Midland derby, big game.
Midlands derby. I mean. Football got in the way of the old Mike Dean show here, didn't it? That is 38 fouls, 9 yellow cards, 2 red cards, and a penalty.
No, the song is "And a Partridge in a Pear Tree."
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
A penalty for the...
Yeah. Wolves without Jimenez don't look the same, do they?
It seems like it's... Yeah, I would... You'd have thought this would have been a different kettle of fish if Jimenez was starting up front.
Yeah.
You just let that player to boss around Konza and Mings, that focal point, just the aerial threat. I think I think it does make a difference, which is a shame because Wolves kind of tick along nicely. They were kind of a well-oiled machine, weren't they? And they've obviously, I mean, you say, obviously Jota moved over to Liverpool and Jimenez out. 2 of the star performers have now gone from that front line. It's going to be a big arse. It's kind of like into Spurs losing Kane and Son.
Yeah,
a
true.
Kind of lower level, but that really messed us up last year.
Yeah, very true. I mean, Fabio Silva did it at the post, didn't he? Like he came in, he played all right. He looked lively, but he's not he can't link. Well, he might be able to link the play, but I haven't seen enough about him to suggest he can link the play like Jimenez does.
It's more, yeah, it's more that kind of that focal point and that someone who can occupy the defenders and give them something different to think about. I mentioned Jota moving away from Wolves, now a transfer into Villa is showing his worth again. Emi Martinez. I mean, a lot of people look back on 2020 and think, what a shocking year. Emi Martinez is thinking 2020 is fantastic. Got his chance with Arsenal, won the FA Cup, got a big money move to Villa, and has continued in the same vein of form. He's loving 2020.
He must be like, he doesn't want it to end. Wow. I don't know. He probably does want to go back and see some family in Argentina. But yeah. he's loving his footballing side of it for sure. Will we see Jimenez back? I know none of us know the extent of the actual skull fracture.
It does always sound. What I've read about it sounds more positive. So I don't think he's had to put into a coma because of the swelling. He's back home. He
went training, didn't he? Visited the training ground.
So I think that's all positive. I don't know. There's things with injuries. It's not just a physical battle, is it? No. It's a mental battle that you've got to fight. And you've seen players who come back, like Luke Shaw, for example, came back broken leg. And you think, how long can you put yourself on the line like that? Like Jimenez putting himself to win that header. I can completely understand it. You see, even in yourself, when you've you've injured yourself around the house, you're kind of a bit more cautious. This is proper big injuries in your working life. I think don't underestimate the mental impact that will have on Jimenez. I would be positively surprised if he came back and was the same player.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think I'd be pleasantly surprised just to see him back, because that's any sort of fractured skull could be catastrophic. So yeah. But anyway, so back to the game. It was a rash tackle.
The turning point. Yeah, the turning point in the game was the penalty at the end, and I've no doubt about it. For me, it's absolute. He had a little nibble at him, and then just his trailing legs were kind of taken from. Well, he kind of stopped him running, didn't he? And there's no Semedo. We spoke about him the other week. Obviously, Doherty moved to Spurs. Semedo has come in. He just has a little error in his game every now and then. Unfortunately, they're getting punished. But yeah, I can't get any complaints about that. And
I'd say what I was surprised about it. The fact that El Ghazi took it. He doesn't strike me
Ollie Watkins has had a bit of a mare, hasn't he? He's missed a high portion of his last...
Yeah, but even then, I thought there would have been people higher up. I mean, you don't know the squad and things like that, but El Ghazi's never been someone that strikes me as a set-piece.
No, I agree. Penalties are a funny thing, aren't they? Like, we often criticise a player for score. I don't criticise... I'm critical when stats don't separate out penalty and non-penalty goals because as we said, you might go transfer to a club and you're not on penalty duty. So if they're a portion of your goal tally, that's going to go away because you're not on penalties. But there is a skill to taking penalties.
Yeah.
Like you look at
never miss one. Thank you very much.
Missed one, yeah. Letitia missed one. Messi has not got the greatest penalty record, which it's just a bit of a surprise, really. It's just, and so there is definitely a skill to it. So yeah, it might not always be the player you expect to be good at penalties to score them. But another good win for Villa. It's been a bit up and down. It started off very well. Been a bit fluctuating. Obviously, no game last week. They were due to play Newcastle, I think. Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, they got postponed, didn't they? Yeah. So.
Yeah,
but they're mid-table at the moment, and I think you'd take that as a Villa fan. I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely been a positive improvement. It's just about keeping those players on the pitch. And
that's what we spoke of before, isn't it? It's the lack of depth, or the fact that if a Ross Barkley or a Jack Grealish gets injured, you have to replace them with the people that weren't good enough last year, pretty much, and that's when you're going to struggle. So, but yeah, a good result.
Yeah, I got a feeling we'll see Wolves slide a little until they kind of because we have to change our style of play to accommodate a different strike force.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the Solomon Rondon, the good guy Rondon derby.
Yeah.
Newcastle versus West Brom, and this
the bet breaker.
Fun alert! Dave and I both assumed we'd have increased levels of fun here by assuming under 2.5 goals in this game. Was that correct, Dave?
We both went under 2.5 goals. Yeah.
Because we thought Newcastle, kind of normally S-house their way to a kind of a low-level win. West Brom haven't done much, and we were wrong.
Yeah.
3 goals in this match, 2-1 Newcastle. And straight from the off, Almiron getting in there.
The quickest goal this season I think it's the quickest goal in Premier League history where the team that didn't kick off has scored first.
Oh,
Something like that. It might be the second quickest goal. The commentary I was watching said a stat very quickly, and I was trying to remember it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was one.
Always good to chuck those stats out there. You're not quite sure of.
Exactly, I love them. I love them. You know me, Josh. I love those sorts of facts. Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
So stuff happens. It's one of the quickest ever.
Yeah.
You take this, that, and the other.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. How did this end up 2-1? Both of these teams are rubbish. Dwight Gale scored the winner. He's dreadful.
Dwight Gale scored a lovely header.
It was a lovely header. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Joel Linton is getting involved, isn't he? Which is weird.
Yeah.
He's got more. I think he's probably got more goals than Anthony Martial this season. But
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
that's a stat. Fact.
It's a fact. But Joel Linton,
chuck Aubameyang in there as well because he's probably scored none.
I said when Newcastle signed Joel Linton, because I'd.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go.
I'd.
Surprise package.
Yeah, exactly. No, I said that he's not an out-and-out striker. His stats, his everything about him that you could research on YouTube, on Google, on Transfer Market, whatever. He was a left winger. He was an inside forward left winger, and that's where he played his best football for Hoffenheim, and that's where he's now playing, and he's playing his best football.
Yeah, it's funny because obviously you look at him and think, well, you should be a centre forward. You're a big burly man, and we have these big number 9s at Newcastle. But I fully agree. He's definitely got some talent. He's got some effective attributes. It's just how you deploy them. And Newcastle are 3 points off 5th. It's just Steve Bruce is just. I don't get what's happening. The performances don't. I mean, Newcastle. I spoke about Newcastle fans. I made a joke the other week around they probably enjoyed the international break so they can watch some good football. But it's funny, isn't it? It's effective, and they're doing quite well at the moment, and it's just working for them. It's not working for West Brom.
No, they are. Well, they're probably very, very happy that Sheffield United are rubbish this year, because that's the only thing keeping them off the bottom of the table. And it's just they're.
So there's two things I'd change at the moment.
Go on then, yeah.
One, don't wear a yellow and green kit. They're relegation colours, right?
Yeah.
Don't wear it. You want to be Norwich? You want to go down again? Don't wear yellow and green, right? Sorry, all those Canaries out there, but it reminds me of relegation.
It's also a horrible kit.
It is rank. What are your thoughts on Bilic then? The second one is, do you get rid of Bilic?
Do you know what? Who do you bring in?
I had to look at this.
Sam Allardyce.
Odds favourites were Eddie Howe.
No.
I think Eddie Howe's got Celtic manager written all over him.
Oh, that's a great shout. Yeah, that's a great shout.
He just feels like a Celtic manager. Yeah. Like, we'll take the kind of the English league kind of. He was played good football. Yeah, I think he's got Celtic manager written all over him. Marco Silva was another name linked.
No, I don't see that. Sam Allardyce is the only one I could see them legit going for to stay up.
But then again, like I mentioned earlier, Pochettino is a long time out of the game now.
Yeah, true. I think they'll stick with Slaven Bilic. I think the board must know they didn't invest enough money to give a realistic chance.
I'm just checking Big's news. It feels like that's one of those statements is going to be met by breaking news that Bilic has been sacked.
Yeah. But, I mean, when they bought in one of their biggest signings was Branislav Ivanovic. It's never...
a little nightmare for the goal.
Yeah, it's never going to be brilliant. I mean, they're just not good enough pretty much anywhere. Sam Johnson, their goalkeeper, is probably their big standout player in terms of the amount of times he keeps scores respectable. Credit to him, it was a lovely goal from Furlong. Lovely finish.
Great. There's so much going on. Like, you think he's not going to actually attempt that. He's going to take a touch first, but just ripples through. Side net, loved the goal.
It was a lovely goal, but you look at West Brom's goals and they're relying on actually moments of brilliance or errors from other people. They're not actually creating plenty of chances for their striker to put in the bait, which is Carlin Grant. They're starting up front, isn't it? I think.
I like him. I like Carlin Grant. I liked the Huddersfield when they bought him. I like him.
Yeah, I think I think if they had created good chances for him, they'd probably put him in the back of the net. But that's the problem. That is the problem, and it's not really working for him.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about creating chances. Let's move on to the Owen Hargreaves derby. I mean, chances galore. I mean, typically, we a nil-nil. We cover it very briefly, so I'm going to keep that tradition going. Man of the match, probably the final whistle here because it was bleak.
Man of the match is David De Gea because he saved the only real attempt on goal from Riyad Mahrez in the whole game.
We spoke briefly about this off air. It was just two teams who didn't want to lose, which was more surprising for one of those than the other, wasn't it?
It was, and I'm very, very surprised by Man City. Like, I'm very surprised by how they approached the game or how they were not. We being Man United, were a wounded animal. We were struggled. We were in a terrible run of, well, not a terrible run of form, but the morale would have been shot after that Leipzig loss to go out of the Champions League like that. And Man City just didn't look threatening. They got in behind us that one time.
Because do Man City realise how much? I mean, as fans, as a fan, I fear Man City.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you think of times they can just open you up and score 4 or 5 goals.
Well, you text me, didn't you? You text me saying,
Yeah.
what's your confidence levels? And I said low to minimal. And that's all I sent back to you. 3 words, low to minimal. And, I mean, you'd give me a 0-0 draw before the game, I would have taken it. But looking at that, I'm like, now I'm annoyed we didn't attack more because Man City were pretty toothless. Gabriel Jesus is he's going down and down and down in my rank, like how much I rate him every game I watch him play. Mahrez has just proved he's so inconsistent and can't do what he should do every single time in front of goal. Sterling again for some reason can't score past Man United. I just don't understand why Man City were what seemed to be so timid and play what looked to be playing for a draw, I guess. But yeah. I mean, we've spoken before about Pep and transfers and signings like that. And I, just before we went live, said to you, Man City have got worse the more people Pep have brought in out of his own scouting and transfers that he's brought in. And they're not.
Yeah, you're not saying that he doesn't improve sides because obviously they did improve.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You have that improvement, but then the longer it goes on, the longer legacy he has. It does seem to be dwindling. Like you look at, I mean, Mahrez,
it's
not much.
Sort
Jesus
of like Arsenal under Arsene Wenger is that he inherited a really good squad, and the more he put his fingerprint by bringing tactically, Arsene Wenger was obviously very, very good. Tactically, Pep is very, very good. But the more they bring in their own players to desperately try and fit this sort of style they want to play, the worse it gets.
Yeah, it's almost as if like the hybrid worked better, and that's true in golf. A hybrid, a nice
what a club.
is good. It's a great club. Whereas the full form Wenger, full form Pep is actually as effective. So, this is
what an analogy.
Stuff.
But yeah, I mean, and that's what I took out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I literally fell asleep during this game. Obviously, it was on at like 1:30. It kicked off at 1:30 in the morning for me. I'd been up all day. I'd had a crap night's sleep. And at one point in the first half, I fell asleep and I was woken up by the commentator saying something. Like, if something hadn't have happened that he obviously exaggerated because the game was boring, like, I probably would have just slept in my office chair at my desk watching with the football on, waking up at 6 in the morning to have some dodgy Singapore adverts on because it was dull. It was so rubbish. And it's not just Man City. We're to blame as well. And it was just...
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the setup, and you've got Fred and McTominay and Fernandinho and Rodri starting in central midfield. It's not there to have an expansive game, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
And Man City, even we've mentioned Jesus, really missing Aguero, really are missing him. But I think that we've probably given that enough airtime, Dave. That's
yeah. There's one last thing on it about that Man City thing. I think they are, with how they're currently playing, De Bruyne was pretty rubbish for De Bruyne level of football. He was pretty rubbish yesterday. And I think that's where Man City struggle. If before they had David Silva that could pick up the pieces and make something happen, I think they're lacking another player to be that creative spark, and that's what's letting them down.
I don't understand why we didn't bring Phil Foden on, to be honest.
I know, yeah, I totally agree. But you're right, we've given it the Bourfest enough time, and
yeah, we'll go for the one the later game. So the Samuel Eto'o derby. We mentioned off air. We were talking about Pep's transfers, and Pep obviously bought his biggest signing of all was Ibrahimovic to Barcelona.
Yeah.
And Eto'o went the other way, so yeah, it kind of reaffirms the transfer record for him. Samuel Eto'o derby, Everton, Chelsea, Ancelotti derby as such as well. 1-0 Everton, and it seemed to me that like the way that you mentioned around Mourinho not wanting to lose to Manchester United if they were to get to the Europa League final against Soa, it seems to me Ancelotti was like, we are not losing this. Everybody was on their A game yesterday. It was just a really good team performance.
It was good to see. It was good to hear. And I think you're right. I think Ancelotti would have gone there and been like, look, there's no way we're coming out of this game without a point at least. And I think it shows. I think that shows good. I don't really know what to call it. Camaraderie, team spirit. People are buying into the leadership at the club to say like, yeah, you're right, boss. Actually, we can't afford to go and not get a result in this game. And it was really good to see it. Obviously, again, it was a penalty that decided it, wasn't it? So early on.
Yeah. Well, this is the second time in 2 weeks we're going to be criticising Mendy. So it was against Leeds, wasn't it? Last week, came rushing out, left himself in no man's land, and left Bamford the decision to make. Scored.
Yeah.
And here mistimes it, rushing out, and just clatters Calvert-Lewin, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's a goalkeeper's role now is all round. Yes, you can be great at claiming crosses. Yes, you can be great at shot stopping. But it's all round, and at the moment it's pointing to an area that is a weakness in his game. That rushing out, so that kind of decision making coming out off his line. So whether that be something that obviously be something that gets worked on in training, but may become before that is that sides will want to put the ball into that kind of zone behind the defence in front of the keeper to make decisions. That's what I'd kind of think of doing. Whether
I think that's right. I think that is what you would do. Yeah, I think you would actively try and exploit that.
Try and entice him.
Yeah, it's not. I was going to say the hesitancy of his decision making, but it's not. It's the rashness of his decision making. It's actually that he makes his mind up probably too quickly, and decides I've got to go and get it. So
we spoke about Chelsea last week. Title contenders. I just want to make just a little stat that I've come across. How many sides in the top half of the table have Chelsea beaten this season?
3.
0.
Oh, really?
0. I mean, it's somewhat due to the fixture schedule, so they've actually only played 3 teams in the top half, not won any of them.
Okay.
But it does point. It's pointing a little bit. I mean, it's not the greatest record. It's pointing to a little bit of flat track quality. It also points towards the tough time that they're going to have in December, January as we finish off this half of the season. They're going to be facing sides in the top half. So we've mentioned, it's early season for like West Ham being up there. There's still a lot of football to play. But same with Chelsea. Let's see how they do against the rest of the top half. And early January, I think we're at the 19 game point, halfway point.
Yeah.
We'll see where it's at. In terms of Chelsea made a good start overall in the season. Kai Havertz, he looks very ponderous on the ball. It looks like he's just taking an extra moment. That will come with time, but
yeah,
I've not been blown away as yet, which is a bit of a shame. It's always nice when big young wonder kids comes to the league.
Yeah, for the money they paid, and for him to be one of the marquee signings. When you look at them, what Ziyech is doing, Pulisic is now coming to the forefront. Mason Mount's already there. He's not stepped up to the plate. And I think a lot of people are disappointed because obviously what he's done in like FIFA, Football Manager, Pro Evo, you know of him as this.
I mean, I imagine Chelsea fans will be screaming, "He's had COVID." I know he's had COVID, and he's recovering from that. But pre that, I mean, it's very early days. But it's not less of a criticism of him. It's more of a disappointment that we've not got to see that talent yet. We spoke last week how a lot of players have hit the ground running in their transfers into the league this season. It's been really good for players to kind of not take a year to kind of develop, and unfortunately for Havertz, it's been the other way.
It might be an age thing. It might be the age of it that he's a younger player, so he needs a bit more time to adapt and everything. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing. So
and that made up the second game. I put in my sensible betting. I had Man City to get a result, draw or win, and Chelsea to get a result, draw or win. That obviously fell down there. So my fun levels were somewhat reduced. What about you, Dave? Your other bet was?
My other bet was both teams to score Everton v Chelsea, but not finish in a draw. So we both sort of got screwed over by the same games, in essence.
Yes.
So because Man City did get you a draw, so that bit of it came in for you. But yeah, so not the overall funness we wanted from our fun betting. The funometers have gone slightly down. So,
but it should be another fun day of football today. So hopefully that will bring them back
should be a good day.
Yeah.
Quickly then, what do you think about today's fixtures?
Okay, so we've got Southampton, Sheffield United. I'm going to challenge you actually, me being the host. You've got to do the prediction. Southampton, Sheffield United, go.
Southampton win.
Yeah,
comfortable.
So. Crystal Palace, Tottenham.
Draw. Score draw.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think Spurs have had a good result against better sides. Now we've got to actually remember how to attack and score. I'm a bit fearful there'll be a draw here. Fulham v Liverpool.
Liverpool walkover. Fulham might as well take the 3-0.
Okay. We've got two games that are kicking off at the same time. What, the first time that's happened this season? We have
Yeah.
Arsenal Burnley. Oh, that's one for the. They're not going to do any good with crosses in that match.
No.
Those back four will be smashing them out.
I'm 1-0 Arsenal. 1-0 Arsenal.
That's not one to tune into. That's not one to convince your wife. It's good to watch football this evening. And Leicester Brighton, also a 7:15 kick-off. What are you going for?
Leicester, probably 2-0, 2-1.
I've got a feeling. I like a bit of Brighton. I think, I reckon that's going to be a score draw.
Okay, I think Leicester will win it comfortably, but the scoreline won't be as comfortable as the game was. I think that's how I would describe it.
Okay.
If you get what I mean, yeah. So,
Yeah.
And of course, it's a packed schedule, isn't it? Because Tuesday we go again.
We go again.
League start
Lovely
again.
December. We have the double rounds, and we'll be covering all of that next week in a very fast-paced football talk.
Yeah, we may have to just do a review and minimise
Football speed talk.
football speed talk. Yeah, minimise some of the other stuff of it. But cool. All right. Are we moving on?
Yes, we're moving on. That's the end of the reviews. Have we got time for a Wikifile?
We've got quick time for a Wikifile. Yeah, I got a Wikifile for you. Hey, we do have time constraints today, hence the speeding up of that. And Josh has sent me a Wikifile today, and it's on the screen for everybody now. Youth career, Montpellier, 2005 to 2007. He signed for Montpellier as a senior player, 2007 to 2013. 186 appearances, 4 goals. 2013 to 2014, he played for one solitary season in the Premier League for Newcastle United, just beating the Carnival and missing one game all season. That would be.
Yeah, ever present almost.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, it's split two, so it was
Okay.
14 appearances, 23 appearances between 2 seasons there.
Okay, so 37 appearances, 0 goals. 2014 to 2015, Roma. Wow, 28 appearances, 1 goal. 2015 to 2020, Lyon, 72 appearances, 2 goals. Now I'm thinking centre-back,
Yes.
and I don't actually know who it is.
Oh, currently a free agent now.
So not retired, just a free agent.
Not retired. Yeah, he's only, I'll give you a clue.
So he
He's only
must
30.
be relatively young. It's only a 15-year career.
Yeah, 31, yeah.
I'm going to say French.
Yes.
Born
in Africa, though.
Okay. Who is that?
I had high hopes for him at Newcastle. I think people, gamers would know of him in.
Yeah, I'm trying
Yeah.
to put it down as a Football Manager player that I may have recognised at Newcastle, but nothing's coming to mind. And in the essence of time, Josh, I'm going to have to say I don't know.
Okay, this is now comes to my pronunciation. It is Mapu Yang Mbiwa.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't realise he moved to Roma after Newcastle.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. I'm not quite sure what went wrong at Newcastle. Any Newcastle fans listening, let us know what went wrong, whether it just didn't settle or he actually wasn't very good. But yeah, it's to kind of flop at Newcastle, you'd have thought,
Yeah.
rather than cash in, and then move to Roma, then back to, I don't know, maybe it didn't settle because obviously a season at Serie A and effectively a season in Premier League, and then back to League again.
He might just have a cracking agent.
Yeah,
So
just wants to keep that money coming in. Yeah.
exactly. So one last question for you: is this the week and the weekend where Liverpool pull away and win the league? And that's come from Ross, who's a Spurs fan.
What are you doing, man? No.
Well, there you go.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that brings an end to this week's podcast. So thank you for listening. And if you've been with us live on YouTube, thank you for your questions as well. If you want to get hold of us for next week's show, you can find us on Twitter @Football Talk. But remember,
There's no A in football.
okay, we'll see you next